were a matched pair of smooth-bore flintlock pistols. On his right hip hung a bowie knife. Across his saddle rested a heavy Hawken rifle. Lou was likewise armed to the teeth. She had to be. The wilderness swarmed with savage beasts, as well as savage men. There were great bears that could rip a person in half with a single swipe of their massive paws. There were painters, as the mountain men called them, enormous cats with razor teeth and claws. There were wolves and buffalo and rattlers and much, much more. For anyone, man or woman, to traipse around defenseless was a surefire invitation to an early grave. Unlike in a city where everyone took it for granted everyone else would behave in a fairly civilized fashion, on the frontier and beyond, the opposite was the case. Everyone was a potential enemy until they proved otherwise. Zack threaded through the trees to the edge of the grassland. He had not ventured more than 10 feet out when rutted tracks greeted his questing gaze. They were fresh, made the day before by wagons filing westward. The ruts overlapped, so it was impossible to tell exactly how many. "A wagon train," he commented, drawing rein. "Most likely bound for the Oregon country."
"My pa was talking about going there after we saved up enough money,"
Lou remarked, and grew sad. It never failed. Every time she dwelled on her father and his grand plan, on how he had dragged her off to the Rockies to trap beaver to raise the stake they needed, and how their venture had ended in his violent death, her heart felt as if it would rip asunder. Zack had seen her sorrowful expression before and changed the subject. "Whoever they are, they're leaving too late in the summer. The first snow will hit before they reach the Snake." Shifting, Lou stared at the smoke.
"Maybe we should warn them."
The play of sunlight on her lovely features stirred Zack mightily. He never tired of feasting in the sight of her. Lou's soft, sandy hair, lively lake-blue eyes, pert lips, and winsome form were enough to set his pulse to quickening. "Why bother? They'll only tell us to tend to our own business."
"I suppose,"
Lou said, and followed when he clucked to his bay. She put the wagon train from her mind and focused on the new life they were carving out for themselves upon their return to the high country. A vision of the cabin they would build floated before her, complete with frilly curtains and a flower garden and a woodshed close by so she wouldn't have to walk far to get firewood on cold winter days. Zack kept one eye on the smoke. Accordingly, he was first to notice several riders approaching. He considered retreating into the trees, but he could tell the riders had already spotted them. One was pointing and gesturing excitedly. "Looks as if someone wants to palaver," he said, and halted. Turning the bay toward them, he leveled his Hawken. Louisa imitated his example. She counted 3 men, all dressed in homespun clothes, all wearing straw-colored hats typical of farmers, and all with rifles. In the lead was a tall broomstick, whose hair and thin beard were flecked with streaks of gray. She mustered an uneasy smile. The trio drew rein 6 yards off. They were clearly in an agitated state, made more evident when the older man demanded without preliminaries, "Where is she? Have you seen her?" "Seen who?" Zack responded. He didn't like how the white man on the right was staring straight at him as if he were a bug worthy of being crushed underfoot. He'd been the recipient of such looks before, and they always rankled him. "Maybe this breed took her," the man on the right snapped. "Maybe we should haul him off his horse and